and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our brand new stamp set, Be Happy, and its coordinating dies, so let's go ahead and check it out. First up, we have a pea pod that has a little opening in it, and then a pea pod that isn't open, and then a bunch of different peas. So we have our plain pea, our standing pea, and our party hat pea. We also have a cute little speech bubble, and then we have some phrases that can fit in the speech bubble, yippee or yay. And then we have a ton of smiley faces that you can add to these peas in a bunch of different styles. So there's really cute ones with his tongue sticking out, ones with eyelashes, sunglasses, different types of smiles. We have a little kissy face there with a little wink, the glasses, which is my favorite. And then we've got lots of cute little different designs that you can add depending on what type of card you're making with these super cute peas. We also have some tendrils for the pea, and I really love the heart-shaped tendril, a leaf as well, and a solid pea. If you don't want to do any coloring, you could just stamp the solid pea in some nice green ink. We have some little rosy cheeks for those smiley faces, some cute music notes, a happy birthday to you, a little heart, and then a really big happy, and then a smaller birthday to go along with it, a you make me so, and then a different style of happy, so you can mix and match the happies. We have welcome, sweet pea, which is so cute for baby cards, and then we have sorry, please forgive me. This set makes me crack up so much. I love it. We have from all of us. You can add that to any of the phrases, and we're like two peas in a pod, and then we have an I'm to go in front of the sorry. So I went ahead and stamped some cute little smiley faces into my peas and also a yippee into the speech bubble, and we're going to work on coloring with some Copic markers. I'm going to be using a bunch of different shades of greens to color in these peas. And so sometimes I put the shading up towards the top, sometimes up towards the right or the left, just kind of depends. When I color in the little glasses, I always like to use my lightest color in the glasses so that they really pop on the pea. And then we're going to use similar colors here for the pea pods. I'm going to add my shading along the bottom and at that little opening line and then blend out into my lightest colors. What's kind of fun about coloring all the stuff for this set is you only have to get out a couple of markers and that's it, because everything's green. So I'll go ahead and color that pea pod and my leaf and then repeat the same style of coloring on the closed pea pod, but just having the darkest part towards the bottom and then blending out into light at the top. For the little leaf part that covers it, I always stay towards the darker colors. And then I'm going to color in the little stripes on the hat and add a little warm gray to that speech bubble just to give it a little pop. These are the coordinating dies, which you can bend apart at the tops or use your wire snips to separate them. I'm going to take that die and line it up with my stamped image and then run it through my die cut machine. And then we're going to peel that die up and you'll see that you have a cute cut little pea all ready to go. There's also a die in this set that cuts the slit there in the piece, so you can choose to do it or not. So this time I'm going to do it, so I'm going to line it up with that black line in the middle of my pea pod and then hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through my die cut machine, and now you'll see that there's a little slit in the pea pod so that you can tuck your peas inside. So here is a look at all of the images from the set. I can't get over how cute and adorable these peas are. And to put them into your pea pod, all you have to do is use that little die and then you just tuck them right inside like that. So you could do 1 pea, 2 peas, or 3 peas in the pod. To secure them in the pod, I like to flip my little pea pod over and I just use some tape runner and run it all along the back of that pea pod. Then there's going to be some adhesive to kind of hold my peas in place. So I'm going to go ahead and add my cute little pea in the middle. I love him with those little arms sticking out. And then I can layer my other peas behind him. And that adhesive that we added to the back is going to hold them perfectly in place, and now they're ready to put onto a card. I love the look of adding the little leaf and tendrils all around the pea pod. So today we're going to be making 4 different cards with this super cute set, including an interactive card, and we're going to start out with this super cute circle-shaped card. So we have some spring pink paper here, and we're going to be using the Rachel color, which is the yellow color, and we've die cut that with a stitch circle, and then we've die cut some fancy scallop circles there, and we're going to add a score line about 1/2 inch down from the top to create a scalloped circle card base. So we're going to score and then fold and then add some glue just above the fold and line these 2 circles up, and this is going to create a really cool circle shaped card that has that really pretty kind of doily texture on the outside. And then we can go ahead and layer that beautiful pattern paper right on top. Next up, we're going to be doing some heat embossing. So we're going to stamp in some nice clear sticky ink and then add some white heat embossing powder. And we're going to be doing that larger happy. And then we're also going to stamp out some of the tendrils. So the happy is on noble fir cardstock, and these tendrils we've stamped on cilantro cardstock. And I think it's a really pretty look to have the tendrils heat embossed in white. We'll go ahead and heat those with the heat tool, and then we can use the dies to cut them out. And I really love that that bigger word happy has a die that goes along with it because it looks so cool when it's all cut out. We're also going to stamp out the You Make Me So in black ink on some cilantro cardstock, and then we can go ahead and just trim that down with our paper trimmer right around the whole sentiment, just like that. And then we can go ahead and start to layer all of the different pieces for this card. So the first thing we're going to do is add the happy on there, which looks so cute on that yellow pattern paper. We'll layer on the You Make Me So Happy, and then we're going to add a little liquid glue to the back and then tuck our peas into the pea pod. And this is my favorite part of playing with this stamp set, is adding those little peas to the pea pod. It's never not cute. It's so adorable. So in this case, we're going to put 3 little peas in the pod. And then we'll add some foam squares to the back of that pea pod and layer it onto the card. Then we can start to layer on all of those different tendrils. So we're going to layer those on with some liquid glue and kind of right behind that pea pod so it looks like it's coming out from behind them. And when you add those on there, it really adds so much to the card. Then to finish out, we're going to die cut a bunch of hearts. This comes from the Stitch Journaling card. And we're going to layer these cute little hearts cut from Guava Cardstock all around the card. And I really love those pops of pink on the card. It really is that perfect finishing touch. And then this card is all done, and I think it would absolutely make someone's day. So next we're going to make a magic picture changer card, and I've taken the main pocket piece die here and I've laid it onto my cardstock, and I'm tracing all the way around with a pencil to show the square size of the opening of the die. And this is going to kind of help give me a guide as to how close I need to stamp my peas. I wasn't quite sure how close they had to be to still fit into that window, and so that little pencil line is the perfect guide. So I've stamped out my 2 little peas, and then I'm going to give them all the little smiley faces, including the glasses, which is so cute. And then I can go ahead and erase that pencil line. It was a nice little guide just to kind of let me know where to stamp. And then we can start to do some coloring. And if you haven't seen the intro to Magic Picture Changer video yet, make sure to click in the description below, or we'll put a link in the upper right hand corner for you guys to go check it out. Next up, we're going to create some masks for these peas. So I'm stamping on a Post-it, and this is a special Post-it that has sticky on the entire thing. So it's got that Post-it stickiness over the entire back of it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp on those and then cut right around the black line and then layer them over my peas so that I can do some inking but not get any ink onto my peas. So I'm just going to cut that out and layer that right on top, and then I'll do the same thing with our last little pea. And the great thing about these masks is that I'm going to be able to reuse them over and over again. So now that we've got the peas protected, we can start to do some inking. And I'm taking some minty fresh ink with a foam ink blending tool and just tapping it into the ink pad and then starting off of the paper and going on in circular motion to build up the color. I'm not doing anything fancy here. It's just one ink color, just creating a cute little sky for them. And then now we're going to peel up the masks, which is my favorite part because it reveals the cute little peas with their cool blue sky. And then I'm just going to stick those masks to the stamp set to save them for later. Now we're going to be creating a card where the peas jump out of the pea pod. So I'm using that pea pod as a guide as to where I need to line up this main pocket piece of the die. And now that I've lined it up in perfect placement, I'm going to go ahead and run it through my die cut machine and start working on my moving piece. So once again, we're going to create some pencil lines, and these are going to give me a guide once again to make sure I have the peas jumping out of the pea pod kind of in the right way. So I'm going to make some pencil lines, line up my little pea pod there, and then I can stamp the peas kind of flying in through the air. I'll go ahead and stamp their little smiley faces, kind of the same smiley faces that I did earlier, and we're also going to stamp some of the little sentiments from the set. So we're going to stamp the yippee and the yay all the way around. Then we can go ahead and erase those pencil lines and start to do some coloring. So we're going to be using the same markers as we did earlier in the video and just color those guys in. And then we can reuse the same masks that we cut earlier too. So I'm just going to layer those masks right over the cute little peas, and we're going to do the same exact kind of inking. So we're using minty fresh ink again with the foam ink blending tool, kind of starting off of the card and then going onto the area, blending the color on. Nothing fancy, just one color, creating a really pretty kind of minty colored sky. Then once we're done with all of our inking, we can start to remove those masks, which I know I always say it's my favorite part, but it really is. It's so cool when you lift up the mask and you see all of that color pop out. And so now we can go ahead and line up our little peas in our moving picture piece, and we're going to go ahead and run that through the die cutting machine. And now how awesome is that right there? So now it's time to assemble this card. So I'm going to fold it in half along the score line that the die created for me. And then we're going to go ahead and fold that down with the bone folder. And then working from the back of the card, we're going to fold down those little tabs there on the top and the bottom. So I'll fold those down and then score them really well with the bone folder. And now we're going to work with some 1/8 inch double-sided tape, and we're going to be adding tape to both sides of both tabs. So right now we're adding to the inside of the tabs, and then we'll go ahead and flip it over and add it to both tabs on the outside. Then we can flip the entire pocket piece over and start to fold in those two tabs. So we're going to peel up that liner paper on both of the tabs and fold them in. And this is going to be creating a track so that our moving piece is going to move nice and straight. Next, I'm going to be using my powder tool, but you could use some baby powder and a paintbrush if you don't have one of these. And I'm going to remove any excess stickiness that might be there on that adhesive, and also any extra static or friction that might exist on these two pieces since they're going to be moving with each other. So I'm just going to run that all over both pieces, and now we can start to assemble our piece. You'll see that there's 4 tabs there, and there are 4 slots. And so we're going to be lining these up. So first I'm going to insert the moving piece into the main pocket, and then I'm going to take that first slot there, and my first tab is going to go into that slot, kind of like a little basket weave, just like that. Now second tab in the second slot, third tab in the third slot, and fourth tab in the fourth slot. And that's it. It's all done and our piece is moving. So now what we need to do is flip it over, and I'm going to make sure that this moving piece is between the tracks. You don't want it to be kind of getting in the way of that adhesive when we close the whole thing. So I'm going to move my piece just a little bit, make sure that it's nice and straight, and then we can go ahead and peel up the liner paper on both the top and bottom tabs, and then we're going to close this whole thing like a book, forming our pocket and also the cool interactive mechanism. And here you can see how it's starting to work already, and this is going to turn out so super cute and fun. So now we're going to start to do some decoration. So I'm going to use the Magic Picture Changer add-on, and I'm going to die cut some of the really rainbow scallops paper, and we're going to add adhesive. And for this piece, you want to go corner to corner on all 4 corners, and then just put adhesive on the short sides. And this is so that the adhesive doesn't get in the way of any of the moving mechanism in this cool interactive piece. So we'll layer that on top, and then I'm going to add some adhesive just to the right and left side of my pea pod, and we're going to layer that right over that opening so that it looks like the peas are tucked inside. I'm adding a little bit more ink to some cardstock here. That's that same minty fresh ink as earlier, and we're going to die cut the tab stopper piece out of that same color. We're going to fold in the middle along the score line that the die created for us, and then we'll go ahead and add some adhesive to the inside of this piece. And this is going to be a cool decorative tab that tells the recipient what to do, but it's also going to be the stopper for our interactive mechanism. So it functions as 2 different things. So we're going to add that right onto that tab, just like that, and you'll see that now when you push in, it's going to keep the piece from falling all the way out. To add some little decoration there, I stamped some of those cute tendrils in some freshly cut grass ink, and I'm also going to add a leaf to that pea pod too. And then I'm going to do some stamping that I should have done earlier but forgot. So I was really nervous, but thank goodness it worked out okay. So I stamped in some black ink, and I also stamped and die cut the happy out of some black ink too. Next, I'm cutting down some spring fling paper to 3.5 by 4 3/8, and that's going to be the size of the card base for this cute little mini card. So there we'll create our card base and score and fold that really well, and then we're going to add that cute pattern paper right on top. And then we'll go ahead and play with this because you have to see how cute that is. And then we're going to add a bunch of foam squares to the back. It's really nice to add foam squares to the back because it makes it really easy to grab that tab and pull. And now you can see how cute is this. This would make someone's birthday so happy, pun intended, because it's just so adorable and fun. And I had so much fun making it. And those little viewfinders in the die make it so easy to create a cool movement like this in a card. Next up, we're going to be recreating a really gorgeous card by Audrey. So thank you so much, Audrey. And we're going to die cut some watercolor paper here with an outside in stitched rectangle. And then we're going to use some Wild Honey Distress ink. And we're going to start in the center of the cardstock and go out in a circle towards the outsides. This is going to create a darker area in the center and a lighter area towards the outside, which is a really, really cool, fun look. Then after we've added our ink on there, we're going to take a paintbrush dipped in water and splatter that water onto this card base. And that water is going to react with the ink and create a really, really cool texture. Then we'll use a dry paper towel here to pick up any of the excess water. And then we can add a little bit more water and pick up that excess again. Now there you can see that it was a little bit too stark, the little splatters on there. So that's okay. You can take your ink and just lightly dust over those splatters and kind of help blend them in, which I think is a really cool look. Then we added a little bit more water, picked up that water with a paper towel, and you can see now you have the variations in kind of 3 different types of speckles or colors of speckles. We're stamping in some clear sticky ink and adding some white heat embossing powder to a sentiment banner where it's going to say birthday from all of us. This is such a cute set to use for From All of Us cards. I love how you can create pretty much almost any kind of card with these cute peas. They're just so fun. I feel like anybody would just enjoy a card with these on them. So now we're going to tuck in our cute little party peas into the pea pod, and then we can layer that onto the card. But first up, we're going to layer that panel with some foam tape to a card base, and that's going to give us a nice little white border. And then we can start to layer everything onto the card. So we've got those cute little peas in the pea pod, and then we can add their little yippee speech bubble. And we can start to decorate with the tendrils. I feel like the tendrils really kind of help set the scene and make it so pretty onto cards. So we're going to layer those little tendrils all over. And then we can start to work on the sentiment. So I love the look of that die cut happy with then the black and white banner. I think it's so pretty, especially on this really cool yellow background. So we're going to layer that birthday from all of us on there, and then we'll layer the happy on top of that. And then we'll stamp a bunch of the music notes all around so it kind of looks like these cute little peas are singing happy birthday. And so we're going to stamp those all around the card, and they're just a beautiful finishing touch. And I love how this card turned out. It was super quick and easy, but by splattering that water and everything, it gives it a really cool, gorgeous texture. So next up, we're going to be making a baby card with this, and we're going to be recreating a card by Elise. So thank you so much, Elise. And this time we're using some of the new Spiffy Speckles paper in the Ripe Banana color. And then we've die cut some Kohl's ABC's letter out of Guava Cardstock. And what I love that Elise does on cards often is she takes part of a sentiment and die cuts letters instead of stamping. So in this case, we're going to have Welcome Sweet Pea, and we're going to die cut the Sweet Pea letters. And you can see just how pretty that looks. So we're layering those onto the card base, and then we'll add them on with some liquid glue once we have the exact placement of them. Next up, we're going to stamp welcome in some clear sticky ink and do some more white heat embossing on black cardstock, and then we'll trim that down in our paper trimmer so that we can layer that over the sweet pea sentiment on the card. Next, we're going to use the stamp in the set to add some cute little rosy cheeks onto that pea. And in this case, we're going to tuck one pea into the pea pod for the sweet pea. Now, if someone was having twins or triplets, then you can tuck more peas in, which would be really, really cute. And then we can layer that pea pod with some foam squares right above that cool sentiment. Then we're going to go ahead and layer some leaves and tendrils around to help finish the scene. And you can see how pretty the card becomes and how the card kind of comes together when you add all of those leaves and tendrils on. We'll add a cute little yay speech bubble on there, and then we're going to stamp a bunch of hearts in the guava ink that coordinates with that Guava Cardstock all around the card. And I think the hearts really help finish it off and make it so super sweet and cute. It's such a cute and unique baby card to send to someone. Next up, we have some absolutely gorgeous cards by the design team, and the first card here is by Elena, and I love how she incorporated Bannertastic and that beautiful white ink blending in this card. It's so sweet and cute. This card by Kay is so happy. I love the bright, bold colors on the white card base. It's absolutely adorable. Here's the card by Audrey that inspired us to make ours today. Thank you so much, Audrey. And then here is a super cute birthday card by Elise. I love all the hearts and music notes everywhere. And then this is the card by Elise that inspired us to make ours today as well. So thank you so much, Elise. Here we have a gorgeous card by Lynette, and I love her cute little layout with those scallops up at the top. It's so pretty and fun. And then Megan made a super cool interactive card with our How You Bean jar. So you have those cute little peas filling the jar, and then the little pea can slide out of the jar. That's such a cute card. Oh my goodness. And then here we have an awesome card by Melissa, and I love how she has that cool circle cut out. It's a great way to frame a scene for these cute peas. I love Letitia's cool coloring here and the cool background she created in that happy bow. And then this card by Yanea is so fun. I love how she has that big green circle in the center. It's just adorable. So I cannot wait to see what you guys do with the Be Happy set, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!